to you today from the Southern Legend Outdoor Studio, the Be a Legend podcast, brought to you from SouthernLegendOutdoors.com. And now your hosts, Kevin Barefield, Kerry Nelson, Ken Butler, and Mark Newell. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. It's your time now. Be a legend.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Southern Legend Outdoors Be a Legend podcast. We're coming to you tonight from Pontotoc, Mississippi, again. But we're not at Kerry's tonight. We're at Granddaddy's tonight.
Yep.
We're celebrating Christmas as a family. We got all the men here tonight. We've got Eli and Bo and Granddaddy Bill, and then our usual co-hosts, Ken Butler and Kerry Nelson. Guys, thank you all for joining in tonight and spending this time together. We're sitting outside, actually, around a fire.
Yep. Granddaddy's lit a fire for us.
Got a fire here.
We sitting around. We have eaten. We are not at my house, but I did do some cooking.
You did do some cooking again.
And Ken got his sushi. Yep. Kevin don't like yet, so we made Kevin deer meat. And then we come here every year and celebrate. We are all brother-in-laws. We married in to the family together, and Bill and Wanda always have us at their home for Christmas. So we get food and fun and funds. Yep. Got a few dollar bills while I was here, and I appreciate Granddaddy coming off the hip. He used to climb water towers, and we got a little more, but he's retired. And,
knees.
We knew every year we was gonna get some money from him climbing the water towers, or if he fell off of one of them. We were gonna get something.
Either way, they'd be a benefit, right?
One thing about Bill is Bill served our country. We always talk about veterans. Ken's talking about men and women that serve our country, and so we're always thankful for his service to our country. Retired from the military, and he works with Mississippi 811, and he travels a good bit, and so it's good to be home and be with him and be with our family.
Yeah. He's also, we were just talking about it earlier tonight, has spent a lot of time teaching hunter safety course in the area. And Bill, tell us a little bit about.
Well, a lot of your hunter safety course, a lot of it's changed over the years. Now they've gone actually with PowerPoints, more of the teaching aspect, and you can actually take hunter safety online now, except the testing part at the very end of it. And it's a good concept, but I don't know if the children or the young adults are getting as much out of the courses about not being there on 101 to kind of go over that. But powers to be, that's the way the concept is now. It's a great course that's been taught, especially 10 years old and older. That's got to have it now when they turn that age. If they ever want to hunt by themselves, and that's going to be a requirement. And to obtain hunting license, they got to have it.
Right.
So I've enjoyed it. In fact, up until Bo and Jack is come along, I've actually taught every one of my grandchildren hunter safety.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that means a lot to me, because at least I know what they got out of it. I stay the whole day with them, even during the shooting exercise, and it makes a difference in a person as they grow older. They think about those things.
Right.
But I want to say this. I want to thank my family for being here. A lot of families are separated. You mentioned about the military. A lot of the veterans are maybe overseas. They may be in a foreign country that we don't really know anything about, and they don't appreciate what we have, and they don't understand Christmas.
Right.
And it's just a blessing for me that we can sit around here and we can have fun, food, and fellowship, and cut up with each other and talk, and it's just one of those blessings that God give us, and we don't take anything for granted. And I just thank y'all for being here.
Right.
Well, we're blessed and very blessed. I told April, I was talking with her over the weekend and just remarking about God's goodness in our life. And we tend to, at Christmas, materialize,
Yep.
what the season is about. And it's not about the gifts we give, but it's about the love that we share.
Amen.
As family, and I'm thankful that on both sides of my family, I know Kerry prayed tonight before we had our meal and said, for a lot of families, this can be a very tense time of the year because there is friction and problems and
having to get together,
discord,
and
we're so
love it,
blessed that we don't have that. We're just a blessed family, and so.
And we talk about hunting mostly on here, and Bill has been a part of all of our kids. He's got stands all on his property named after the grandkids.
Yeah.
That's
That's right.
And I said, when we first started this, talking about By His Grace Outdoors, who got us started. Now, Ken was on the podcast. We talked about Ken's land and Bill's land. Well, this is the Bill that we were talking about. And he only had 40 acres when I first asked him about bringing people. And it's just amazing. We was talking about having big properties,
Right.
to keep bucks, and we talking about that. And I won't never forget, right when I started hunting on Bill's land years ago, his pastor, Brother David Hamilton, had killed a huge 13 point off of that 40 acres.
I remember that.
And
it's mounted in his office.
It's mounted in his office, and so
Still the biggest deer to date.
That's right.
That's
right.
And that was
that's,
early on.
Yeah, and that's the point. If you're listening and you don't have a big tract of land, that don't mean big deer's not going to come across you or even bed on you.
Right.
And but I do appreciate Bill. Eli's sitting here. He killed his first deer on Bill's property, and Bill was actually hunting with my oldest son that night, Caleb. And I had
video.
It's on our first video, and so it's just it's good. We're not talking about getting together tonight. We've been together for years. Me and Michelle's going to be married 29 years, and we just have a great family time when we get together. There's never a time that any of us are dreading and getting together, and what a blessing it is. We come, our kids get along, our spouses get along. We love coming to our to our family, and to be able to do this weekly or bi-weekly, however we do it. We we've
grown closer.
We have,
We're also busy.
We are.
I know.
And so we may just make Bill another co-host. That's how we drug Ken in
He'll
this
get
thing.
to eat.
Hey, he'll get to eat.
Yeah.
Good.
And he's got a fire. We might even just change locations.
I owe thanks to both Bill and Kerry for the fact that I am in the family, because they did some work previous to mine and April's time to start dating, to kind of set the scene in place, I guess, and make arrangements for us to get together. So I appreciate you guys working to get me in the family.
Glad to have you.
Can we promise? Can we promise at some point to tell about the furniture trade-off that I got? We'll tell that later. Anyway, I got some furniture. Kevin got a wife, and that's a true story.
It worked out. It worked out for both of us for sure. I thought it'd be a good time, and we've already done a little bit of this already, but just sharing some memories, and some times that we've had together. And it's interesting to me when I think about, I know every family probably goes through this at Christmas, but to see the kids grow up, when we started this, obviously for me, it started with a marriage, and now my boys are, Bo, how old are you?
10.
10? Okay, so I thought you were. I just want to make sure you knew. And then I got Jack, and Jack's
6.
He's 6. Okay, good. I was just
turned
checking that.
6.
And then Eli is how old now?
19.
Eli's 19. And then we just got the men here tonight.
Yeah.
But we probably need to have an episode where we bring the ladies in.
We could.
I don't know. that's a little risky.
Yeah.
And we probably need to do that
Yeah.
after hunting season when the content's a little dry and we
Yeah.
need something, to talk about a little more. But
Although Mary
But,
Kate and Lakin,
I was gonna
they could
get-
get in on the hunting part.
yeah, I was working my way to Mary Kate. Mary Kate, we've already talked about her some this year, Ken.
Yeah, she's 19. and
But she's into
in
hunting.
college, so.
Yeah.
Hunting. And
Playing ball.
Softball. And
Playing ball in
so
college.
we're blessed. We're blessed for sure. So.
And one of the little ones just opened the door and jumping up and down, trying to come out here.
Yeah,
So
they keep
you never
standing.
know what'll happen on this podcast with
That's
this,
right.
with this bunch we've got. But I just I don't know. It's kind of catching us off guard. But does anybody have a story they'd like to share or time they'd like to share in our Christmas history or time together? And it's that time of the year that we kind of reflect. Kerry, I know you got some funny stories. I want to bring this up because I know if I bring this topic up, it's going to you're going to have some stories to tell. But the Conley Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. me and Bill married a Conley.
Got to be a good story.
Yeah, Bill married a Conley, and I married Miss Conley's daughter, and so that put me and Bill both into the Conley side, not by choice, but by marriage. All right.
There you go.
And
All right.
so one thing that the Conleys believed in was multiple children. And they got all kinds of children, and all of them come to my house now for Christmas, and we do an exchange they call the Dirty Santa thing. Well, the women's last about 15 minutes, and they're up, and they're cheerful, and they're ready to go, not the men.
Yeah.
We got one rule. There is no rules. You can swap until you're ready to go. Some leave mad, some leave glad. Me and Bill probably agitate it more than we should. We spend a little more than normal just to make sure the game is extended. And I've probably spent as much on the Conley Christmas gift at times I did my own kid. But even at that, talking about the Conley Christmas, is we have spent some long nights. One particular time, it was 2:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And there were still 3 of us left with 2 gifts open and 1 unopened in the floor, to which we pulled up chairs beside each other. And we just kept swapping the 2 gifts to the point we weren't even looking at each other no more.
Until somebody got
nobody
tired.
would open that. And finally, I think I opened it because I had to go preach. This was a Saturday night, and I had to go preach. And it already got into preaching Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And so I finally gave in, and I was the only spiritual one in the bunch, apparently. And so I gave in, but if I'm not mistaken, it was me, Terry, and Bill that was left. And that pretty well still the same.
Yeah.
We still have that. But we love the Conley Christmas. And Miss Conley passed away a few years ago, so we moved it to our house.
Right.
And Lord blessed us with a big enough house to do it, and so we're thankful for that.
You don't want to take times like this for granted, because I was sharing with April the other day, I said, I remember my Christmas memories were times being spent at my grandparents' house. That's what I remember when I think of Christmas, is at Charlie Hale's house and Margaret and my papa Colin Barefield and Carolyn, and my grandmother Carolyn is still alive. But I try to tell my boys, you don't take times like this for granted, because
Right.
it won't always be this way, as much as we would love for it to. If time prevails and the Lord allows, then that'll evolve, because now it's my parents and April's parents that we spend Christmas at now, and I'm just again thankful and blessed. Bill, thank you for all that y'all do for us and
Yes.
our family, and I love
love
you guys. And we talk about a part of this podcast is called the Be a Legend, and we don't try to, but I tell Bo, you can look at your granddaddy, and you can try to pattern your life after that. That's not the case of every grandchild out there.
Right.
And it's good when a child can look at their father, they can look at their granddaddy and say, that's the kind of man I want to grow up and be. So I'm thankful that my son has all kinds of men sitting around him right now that he can look at
Sure.
and can pattern his life after. So thank you guys. Appreciate that. We're still in hunting season.
Yep. Eli got him one yesterday.
Eli got a deer yesterday. Tell us about that, Eli.
I had planned on climbing a tree on our hunting club and was too lazy, and so I climbed up in a ladder stand that I'd hunted one time in bow season. And about 8:30 that morning, I heard something coming up behind me, and there was a 7-point, pretty big 7-point, had a lot of mass on him. And he come in, I'd done ranged him, he was about 35 yards. And so I'd grabbed my bow, I was finna stand up, and as I was standing up, I didn't notice the spike that had come in with him. And so he blew, and the 7-point run off, and he run off. And so that was it for that hunt. And so I went back there yesterday afternoon, and about 5:20, I looked down in the hollow, and there stood 2 deer. And I put my binoculars up, and I could see horns, and so I went ahead and shot him. He's on hunting club, so I didn't figure it really mattered really how big he was. He's legal though.
He ended up being a pretty good one.
Yeah.
He,
Well,
meat on the table.
Yeah,
right?
but here,
was-
but go ahead
he
and
was-
tell them why. Because this particular hunting club he was hunting on, they run dogs, and if they're running dogs, and you know how it is when you're running dogs. If they're running dogs, they're going to reward that dog by killing whatever comes out of that thicket. That's just the way it is. And so sometimes, and which he ended up being a really good 6-point, and so
he was a good deer.
he really was.
Yeah, I
big
saw a
deer.
picture.
had a big body.
Yeah.
He's a big body, pretty wide for a 6-point. Yeah. So
He will be on a grill near you. Yes, he will. So.
Well, Bo hasn't killed a deer this year. I would say he's been a little lazy, like you said a few times, but he's done pretty good. He's getting out there, and it's getting. The older he gets, the harder it gets sometimes to get him to roll out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought that would.
And the older you get, it's harder for you to roll out of
Yeah,
bed.
I guess so.
Them evening hunts look real good.
Oh,
Yeah. I used to think, man, I thought if it's going to be this easy, he used to just pop out of the bed like, and go. But now he fights it a little bit. And, especially the earlier I get you up, right?
Yes.
But he hasn't got him a deer yet, but we've got one saved for him. His pop was hunting earlier this week, and he led a real good 8-point walk. And he's hoping he'll come back out for Bo. So maybe we'll get some time in this week, and Bo will get him. He likes to duck hunt too, don't you?
We went duck hunting just yesterday.
Yeah.
We went
Did you see a lot of ducks? Mostly geese, though.
yeah, not many ducks per se, but a lot of geese.
Yeah. Yeah. He likes duck hunting, so hopefully the ducks get down a little later. Ken has a story to share with us. He had it's a nephew, right?
Yes.
Nephew Simon.
Yeah.
And we talked about it on our last podcast together.
Yeah.
Tell us about the hunt, Ken.
Well, if you remember, well, first of all, I'm going to say give props to
Oh yeah.
Southern Legend right here, outdoors for outfitting
Weird.
with our pullovers and
Yeah.
and just to throw a little deal out there, just be looking at the website
Yeah. We're
and
gonna have him on the
look at
website.
all the clothing line, and I think he's got some more things in store. So
Yeah.
Kevin, you'll tell everybody
Yeah, I'll
about
tell
that.
them.
But,
Yeah. Thank you.
but,
Appreciate
but
that.
thank you for the
Sure.
pullover. It was
Yeah.
unexpected. So
I called him out on Facebook, I think.
Yeah.
That's what caused it.
Well,
Okay.
he started sharing them out there, and I said, "Well, I'm glad you got my name for Christmas." And so he really didn't. We didn't draw names for the adults, but he showed up with us.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. So anyway, if you remember last podcast, I believe we spoke of. I took Simon to our property, and I mean, for
Exciting
our
hunt.
first hunt for 4 shooters to come out. 3 of them were at 200. I'm going to say one of them was at least 130-inch big 9-point that we've been seeing on camera, but it was just too far. I just didn't feel comfortable letting him take that shot, and And I tried to talk him into let me shoot it, but
Yeah.
he didn't like that idea. And then we had one come out at 50 yards. It was just he couldn't find it in the scope. It was just a little bit too dark for him. And, but it was still shooting light. But you know how it is, that small. You look through the scope, it's black, and then it gets clear,
Right.
and he just couldn't get it in before it went in the woods. But we went another time, and we saw several deer, and he only could have good quality shots at yearlings. Mm-hmm. The mamas were in the right up there on the edge of the woods, and they sent something right staring right at us and just backed up right into the woods. And so that didn't work out. Went another time, didn't see anything, but we went Thursday and afternoon, and it was just a messy day.
Yeah.
One of those days you like to be in the stand.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually good at our place when it's like that, but it's been messy forever, and I guess the deer are tired of it too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw a deer coming out about 250 yards, and I told him, and I think I heard his heart beat as soon as I told him, because I mean his face, his eyes got big as silver dollars, and I mean he was looking and he was just asking me questions. I could tell it was on, you know, and deer came in our cornfield. It fed and got closer and closer. It got within 125 yards, and y'all know, there's a certain point in time you can see the way the deer's looking and acting. He's probably, after he's been eating for a little while, it's been about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He's probably fixing to go one way or the other and leave the field.
Right.
And so he broadside, and he had already been practicing, had the gun out the window, and was going over some things. And so anyway, one thing led to another, and I said, "You ready?" He said, I am. I said, "Well, you just barely touch that trigger, and you just barely pull, keeping the crosshairs on that front shoulder until that gun goes off." And man, he followed the instructions to the T. He shot the deer, and it dropped, never moved. And
Wow.
I do have video of him right after we shoot, and then walking to the deer, retrieving the deer. We got pictures and that whole deal. So anyway, it was it was a spike. Spikes were 7-8 inches, it looked like. And it was just like a 150-inch deer.
Oh, I know.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
And so it brings back, I remember Mary Kate, you remember when you were kids. Bill remembers taking folks, and he took me with my first deer. So there's a lot of memories go back. He'll never forget that, hopefully. But walking to get the deer, we looked at the video.
Yeah.
He was like, "I'm going to kill a lot more deer." And he said, "I think I'm going to do it today." You know, he's 89 years old. And I said, "I think we better stay legal your first hunt." So anyway, we did that. We cleaned the deer, and this meat's in the cooler. And what his daddy don't realize is what kind of he's in for.
You've created a monster.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, there's hunting clothes. I mean, he's borrowing Mary Kate stuff to go.
Yeah.
Pink boots. You know, I mean, he's borrowing her stuff. So there's hunting gear, there's guns, there's boots, there's binoculars, there's knives. I mean, there's backpacks. There's you know, you name it, you got to get it. So we came up with a list of stuff that's a little bit over $2,000 for him to present to his daddy. And so anyway, we're gonna see how that works out. But it made my year.
Yeah.
I don't care if I do anything else, you know.
Yeah.
But me and Bill's hopefully gonna go in the morning. Anybody else won't go with us, but we're gonna go in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a little cold.
I'm actually taking one of my nephews. He's never shot at a deer tomorrow. Ought to be a great morning.
Yeah.
And you know, we talk about that when you take kids. You'd love for him to have got that 9 point.
Oh yeah.
But the spike to him, to watch the video of him, you know.
Yeah.
He was excited.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's unbelievable what that does for you.
And that's a memory you and he will cherish forever.
You know,
He'll always look at you differently. You were that
I hope
person
so.
with him to
I
help.
hope I was a positive influence, and I learned.
No
Bill
doubt.
taught me.
No doubt.
I taught Mary Kate. Now we're teaching him. And so it's Mary Kate's got to get out of the bed. Kind of like Bo. You know, she's killed a deer every year, multiple deer every year, and this year she's been a little lazy, but she's gotten smart. She knows the last 3 weeks, and I was telling y'all earlier. We look back. My buddy that has land with us out at our place, he keeps every deer we kill over the years. I'm talking about years. We've had it since 2002.
Yeah.
And he's looked before, and I'm going to say 90% of all of our bucks taken here in Pontotoc are the last 3 weeks, mainly that primitive weapon or your choice of weapon,
Yeah.
last half of January.
That was good.
And that's just,
I wonder-
it never fails.
I wonder why that is.
And you see them. You don't.
You think it's a lack of pressure, maybe? They feel a little more comfortable,
and
less.
that's our place, and it may not be for everybody else, but one reason
You know, the
is
rut's probably over at
it's
that
got to
point.
be quitting a little
but-
bit, but it could be starting back up secondary.
Yeah,
but
that's secondary.
another thing is these deer are hungry.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another story in
That's
itself
true.
that we need to talk about. You know, we
Yeah.
have standing corn, and I know you're going to do corn next year and beans.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kerry's going to do corn and beans. Bill's going to do corn and beans because our feeding it'll be shut off.
Yeah.
It is shut off now. I know
Yeah.
they were just released a bunch more counties.
Right.
We're going to talk about that, but
Yeah.
I really think, you know, we center around our cornfields. You know, we got about 800 acres there, but the last 3 weeks, you better be somewhere around the cornfield, your food, because they're on some trail, because they're coming to it because they
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
You know, all the briar leaves are ate
It's
off,
all
all the
gone.
acorns are rotten, the
Yeah.
food plots are ate, they've turned, you know, by that time the winter has turned them yellow a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
they're thin. So I think that's one thing that it does it for us, because we just center around the food there, but they can build the weight back up,
Yeah.
trying to, after rut. So, but, you know, talking about the counties have been added to the buffer zone or
Yep.
whatever you want to call it. We had a few questions
Yeah.
about that. Kevin, what do
This-
you think about that?
Well, this week, and we were talking about it earlier tonight, they've added Tippah County, Prentice County, Alcorn County, Lafayette County, Marshall County, Benton County, DeSoto County, and what would be the county directly south of DeSoto? I'm sorry.
I'm trying to think of the ones that.
Panola?
Huh?
You talking about Panola County?
No, Panola County's not in it. But it basically runs on a line kind of along I-22, but it's further south
Marshall?
of I-22.
Yeah,
No, Marshall's in it, but
Marshall's
it'd be
in
the
it.
county directly below DeSoto County, over on the river side.
Yeah. It's one right below, but I can't
I can't remember. Forgive me. But anyway, you can go to the MDWFP website and see the updated map. I guess, you know, we're supportive of the effort, at least from our podcast
have been
standpoint.
supportive in
We're
doing it.
supportive of it.
Yeah.
I know everyone here has taken samples. Now, we haven't, because our county was not included in the mix until this week.
And that's Tippah.
Tippah County, that's right. But you guys, all here in Pontotoc County, have all submitted multiple samples from your farms and, you know, are trying to participate, do what they ask. But, you know, we've got some questions, and I'm going to try to make some calls this week, because I really found out about this Thursday night. I was at duck camp, so I was down in the Delta, and but I'm going to try to make some calls this week. There are some concerns. They found the other deer in Marshall County, Holly Springs. It was on the other side of Holly Springs, and so after they found that deer, they sent it off for testing. They came back and found out that the deer did confirm CWD.
Right.
We suspected there would be some counties added, but basically they retained that line from Highway 45 west,
Right.
but they extended it all the way up through Alcorn County, and then that line west. So it's still a little concerning why, and I don't know, we want to get y'all's input, but it's a little concerning why, you know, well, Lee County sits there, and it's only half covered, and it's a county bordering this last finding.
Right.
Tippah County and Alcorn County have been brought into the mix, and they're 2 counties away from the 2 findings that
You
they've
got the
that they've
complete county
confirmed.
is
You
about-
got a whole county in between.
It had nothing's been confirmed or.
But Lee County sits right next to, you know, a confirmed case, and only half of that county's covered. So, I have heard that there was confirmation possibly of some cases in Tennessee. But even with that being said, it just seems to be some inconsistency in the areas that are being drawn into this,
Right.
what they call the CWD management zone. It's Queen County, and all that area is still under coverage, and they found a second deer in that zone with CWD. But I don't know. Just kind of throwing it out there. I've got some questions about the zone.
Right.
What metric or what data are they using to determine where a zone starts and stops? What are we using on mileage? I don't think they can say that because it's not, the mileage is not consistent from the findings.
Right.
But what do you guys think? I don't know.
Well, I just don't understand about the Lee County. What's Highway 45 got to do with anything?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a river; it's a highway. Deer gonna cross the highway.
Yeah.
So I have a problem understanding that when they skip a county or two getting to Tippah County,
Yeah.
but Lee County's right here and it's got half of it. I mean, what's going on that other side?
Yeah.
That's our question.
From a proximity standpoint,
Yeah.
it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and, in our next question is, there's a lot of hunters that's not participating in this, in turning in samples.
Yeah. Somebody said tonight how many? 100 and Bill, did you say?
170 something that I think is reported so far has been turned in.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, there's people still feeding. There's people still putting potatoes out. And it don't care.
Yeah.
And if you're a true hunter and believe in conservation, we want to do what they ask us to do, but when you see Highway 45 split Lee County,
Yeah, the inconsistency.
what's going on? Inconsistency. You might as well go ahead, if you're going to do it, make complete North Mississippi from Arkansas, all the way over to Alabama line to the Tennessee line.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, you got somebody on this side of Highway 45 can feed, and the other side of Highway 45 that can't.
Yeah.
You're splitting a county, not a county line.
Not a county line. It makes sense to use a county line.
That's right.
But
what's going on? That's our question, and
I think there's a real argument to be made there,
right,
and some questions that need to be answered by the MDWFP as to why that area is kind of been left untouched.
Yeah.
As close as it is.
I mean, you came in today, and you told me this county's been added. I hadn't seen anything until you told me.
No one has. If I'm not mistaken, it's not been on the Facebook feed. It wasn't on the news from what I saw. It may have been, and I may have just missed it.
But as far as I understand, those new counties that were brought up are in the zone now. Is there no feeding now? Have they cut it off?
I mean, it's under the management zone, under what they're,
It's got to be.
Yeah.
In Pontotoc County, now Tippah's added. I mean, you would think it would have to be added.
Now, they stated that there was going to be a time of, I guess, allowing for current feeders to be emptied, or
forget that.
I know. Did they ever give a date on that?
No,
though? I mean,
no. We thought they were going to do it. We thought they were going to do it at that meeting at Ecru that first time. Let everybody know we know all you'll have feeders.
Yeah.
But what we were told there was going to be a grace period. We know you got feeding feeders. We know it's going to take some time. We know you have investment made.
Yeah.
Like Bill was talking about. When y'all were talking about, there's a lot of folks that decided when the law came in, it was lawful to kill any distance from a feeder before all this started.
That's right.
There's a lot of people who said, I'm not spending money on fertilizer, I'm not spending money on grass, seed, and I'm just going to hunt over feeders wherever my spots are.
Yeah.
And now they didn't get the food plots done, and now the feed's gone, supposedly.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But it also splits Prentice and Alcorn.
It does. It's Highway 45.
Right. So it's split in 3 counties upward. All right. So as well as I do, it splits properties.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It splits properties. The road splits properties.
It does.
I have 3 different properties that I lease and hunt that a road splits them. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm very common to that. So if I can, I guess in my mind, we're trying to control a disease that's not hurting humans as far as we know, but could wipe out a deer population. So I mean, that's the whole. That's why
what
they're
they're
doing
saying.
it. Right. That's why
Yeah.
they're doing it. There's been no cases of humans dying, but deer, it could wipe them out. So why are you taking half of Lee County, half of Prentice County, half of Alcorn County? You're splitting properties. So the same deer. Here's my point. The same deer that's on the left side of the road can cross the road and eat from corn and go right back to the. I guess from a hunter standpoint, we were all gung ho. Hey, we're gonna help you make sense to us, and we'll make sense of it. But this right here does not make sense. And the other thing that I would say is, why is Chickasaw, Calhoun, why are these counties not added into this?
They're bordering counties.
But they're closer to the zone. They're
are.
closer than you are.
Than Tippah County.
That's my point. So here's
Yeah.
what I want to know: why the zone so high and far away from the Pontotoc case, and why? I mean, I'm glad they're not in the zone for their sake. They can feed,
Yeah.
they can hunt. But my point is, for us that's not ignorant, you're gonna have to make us some sense.
Right.
All right. Why are you splitting a county when a deer could go right? You don't think they cross Highway 45? Drive it at night.
Yeah.
They're crossing it. So if your point is to make, if you're out for the deer conservation, you got to make sense with your ruling.
Right.
That's what we're saying, right?
The only thing
it.
that I can figure, is, and this may be the explanation, is that Tennessee confirmed cases in Fayette and Hardeman County. Now that is north of Tippah County, and so that might be why we got included. But our county has not confirmed any. And so if we're going to start doing bordering counties, then it would make sense again why all of Lee should be covered, why all of Chickasaw County should be covered, and why Lafayette wasn't covered and Calhoun, why they weren't covered from the very beginning. So it's just some inconsistencies there. I don't know. Bill, what do you think?
Well, I think the whole thing, the worst timing happened during all this, and Ken's already mentioned this, especially about the way every one of us out here went over a proper and legal feeder. It had to be the covered feeder. It had to be a spin feeder, and people invested into those proper regulated feeders. And then all of a sudden, here deer season starts, and all of it's changed. It's really done an injustice, in my opinion, the way the law. Because if you go back and read the law as it is right now, sure, the law's being changed, but if you think everybody out there knows it don't.
No.
You can go to an old grocery store somewhere or a service station and talking about it, they don't even know what in the world you're even talking about.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first one to tell you, the ignorance of the law is no excuse. What I'm just saying is, they've got a manual that says what they can do, and now you can't do it. Well,
Right.
you turn around and you say, okay, we don't want feeders here, which you could collect more samples from feeders now from hunters by taking the deer that they normally wouldn't take during the year. But I want to go ahead and get areas in my hunting area tested. That means something to me. Any other time, I wouldn't have shot that deer, whatever it was. But here's the time. But we turn around and you're talking about crossing over county lines or over into other counties. We still allow dog hunters to dog run.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that the dogs are smart enough that they're going to only run them in that area there.
Yeah.
There you go.
And so what we're actually doing,
Maybe we
taking
can
away what we
outfit
could
our
do.
dogs with GPSs that automatically start stinging them when they get
yeah,
outside
yes,
the
that's it.
CWD zone.
But
Management
see,
zone.
you could actually take the feeders now and collect more samples than you ever would. But now we're taking the feeders away.
Yeah.
We're allowing the dogs to run the deer. And deer are just like humans.
Yeah.
They're hungry. They're going to go to a food source somewhere.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's another county or two counties over. and it's just a lot of gray area. And I know there's people out there that even making these decisions are not 100%,
No.
correct about it. But I think because of a show like this, I think about the research you do. It's things like this that the hunters need to know about. Why is this happening?
Right.
Why do we still allow this? Why aren't we being able to go ahead and take the deer? Because all you're looking for is a deer to take a sample.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. And if a deer is coming to a legalized feeder, and you kill that deer, you're gonna have a sample.
Yeah.
Any other way, you may not see a deer for the last of season if you're lucky enough to do that.
Right.
And it's
And
like
they
I said,
ask for mature bucks. Okay?
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they ask for.
Yeah.
3-year-old range deer. My question, and that's a great point. My question is, when you think about the getting the information out. All right, Eli decided to go duck hunting the other day, and I let him know right quick because he's not a duck hunter, but his buddy is. You better have your stamps.
That's right.
All right. So before he got into the duck waters, he went online and bought his stamps. Guess what I got immediately in Belize? I got an email that said he got his stamps because my email's on his.
Yeah.
I haven't got an email that says new zones have added.
I thought
All right,
about that.
but
That's
I
a good
guarantee,
point.
and they've got all of my information. Because we're sitting with an IT man over a major college university. As well as I do that there are ways, as it's simplified, it can be mass sent out. Whether they're set up to do it or not, get set up to do it. Because here's what's going to happen. We've already talked about it with game wardens. All right? And we've got some friends of ours that are game wardens. This ain't a shot to them.
No.
But if they come up and you telling them I didn't know ain't going to save you no ticket.
That's right.
But this is something that's happened. Bill said it right. This has happened during this. This ain't something we went into the season. We got into the season. We had a big meeting at a school, no Pontotoc. We found out some stuff. All right, so here's what we did.
But didn't find out a whole lot.
But you didn't find out everything. But still, you made some changes.
Sure.
Now, right in the middle, the rut's finna happen. And now we've extended zones. And until tonight, I had no clue about it. You had no clue.
Right.
You had no clue.
right.
Had you not got a clue about it, we'd all been sitting around here. I'm going to hunt property in the morning that's now been added to the zone that we filled up feeders last week. So what do we? If a guy walks up while I'm hunting in the morning, am I busted? Last week it was fine. I don't even know about it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I just think
yeah.
what's going to end up happening is, I'm already copping the attitude as I'm talking. So how is it going to be for the game if they come after the hunter now after changing these rules midstream? This thing ain't. They're not going to get their sample. They're not going to get any cooperation because people are people,
That's right.
Right.
and their communication on this is not good. Because all I had to get was an email that said new zones. I get it when I pay them the money for my ticket
That's
every
right.
time.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, but talking about adding Tippah County, and I was asking about that grace period. So does that mean now that Tippah County was added this week, we have a grace period?
We don't know. That's
Because
what
we
me
just-
and Ken said.
We just filled our feeders up,
They never said.
and
I heard it was
I
told to
can't
somebody
go out
that
there.
it better not be out there. If you're in the zone, you better not have feed.
So right in the middle of the rut, here's my question, Kevin. Right in the middle of the rut,
You just been added to your Tippah
all right,
County.
it's added to you, and the rut's finna get on property that you've been staying away from. All right, let me ask you this. What do you do in the morning before you take bow? Go out there and make a bunch of noise, take your feeder down, pull your four-wheeler in there?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
There's got to be some, who's going to do that?
Yeah.
You're hunting a big deer, and you're finna now go into the property where you've been watching him, taking pictures. He's been coming to your feed because it's legal.
Yeah.
You're not finna go in there and make a bunch of racket. So do you deserve a ticket? Well, you can mark it down. You and me both know. We know guys that's on that force. They're going to come in, and if they catch you, they're going to write the ticket just because that's who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
You're
So
right.
it's
You're
just
right.
one of them things where
Transparency to me
Amen.
is that they have to have it if they expect cooperation across the board. And I think most guys, at least everyone sitting here, wants to cooperate. but we also want full transparency. And I think they've done a fairly decent job of putting, but like you said, there needs to be some initiation communication, if that makes sense, that they initiate the communication back to us, let us know through forms of email or, because, I mean, who's going to go out and check their website every day?
It should be on the news weekly.
To see.
It should be, every major news. And here's another thing. We have neighboring CWD states around us. They still feed.
They do.
Explain that to me.
How does that happen?
Yeah.
Texas.
That's a whole nother conversation. But all right, this is just happening to Mississippi last year. First case?
Yeah.
Am I correct about that?
County
All right,
last year.
first. So don't they learn from those that's already been through it? I would think so.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, so they've come in and shut our feed off. Sort of. You can feed in half of one county and you can't, come on.
Yeah.
So, but now these states that have the CWD are still feeding.
Yeah.
Right.
As far as we know, unless they're not telling us, they tested all those deer and still, up until the Cherry Creek deer, there was still one case in the state of Mississippi. Am I correct about that? As far as our information. They may know something we don't, and if you do, that's your business, but you can't expect us to act any different based on no knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
So I heard 800 deer, I heard 1,500 deer, I heard 2,000 deer. I don't know how many they took, but I know they took a lot of deer. No more case of CWD. Does that make sense,
all those
what I'm
deer,
saying?
yeah.
All right. So as far as we know right now, there's 3 cases in the whole state of Mississippi. As far
Actually,
as,
aren't there 4? What was there a second one in Issaquena?
There's a second one in Issaquena.
And then the 2 up here.
Pontotoc and Marshall.
okay,
so
so
there'd be 4.
there's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So there's 4. Let's just say right now, with what they took and what we've turned in, let's just say 1,000. Let's just say 1,000. There's 4 cases out of 1,000.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the situation, I know the one at Cherry Creek was acting abnormal.
Yeah.
That's why that's why we even found out about this, right?
Yeah.
It was acting abnormal.
Right.
So, I guess in my thing, I took statistics in college. I'm sure you did, and I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
And you take a sample from a population. And you can take a sample from a population all day long, but it don't make the population. You can take a dirt sample and say, build a house, and next thing you know, your house is cracking. Because where you took the dirt sample does not speak for the whole 10 acres in which you built your house.
Right.
And my point is, there comes a time where common sense got to take over this thing.
Yeah.
That's where I'm headed with all this. You
Well,
can't take 4 deer out of 1,000 and just shut the whole
I
fucking
think
system
thousands
down.
of
Well, and
Yeah, I do, but I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
another common sense approach to this is it would almost come across to us as hunters that this is being delivered that we all of a sudden have CWD. Like this just happened a month ago.
Yeah.
The truth be known,
It's been here for years.
it's probably been here for 10 years.
sure.
Longer,
It's
probably.
maybe more.
Right.
It's been around for a long
The
time.
sample is just spreading. The
Yeah.
samples being taken is starting to. We're sampling them now, and we're finding them. The chances are, as much as we eat deer, and as much as you cook it and feed it to your hunters, Kerry,
I've been dead 15 years ago.
there's a chance we've.
I
ate some.
guarantee my chance of eating some CWD
Yeah.
is not even a sample of the population. It's the population of the population. Because we eat it
Yeah.
literally every week.
Well, we got a pile of it in there.
We sure
Yeah,
do.
I was
by the way, while you're looking, I see you finna read something.
Yeah.
I could possibly have made the first deer sushi in the history of sushi.
It was wonderful.
We had deer,
Delicious.
listen to me, tempura.
Deer
Those that eat shrimp tempura. We had fried deer tempura, sushi, avocado, cream cheese, wrap. First time, Bill Rutledge's, Pontotoc, Mississippi. I got news for you. You can take that and sample that. It's deer tempura.
Yeah.
We did it.
You need
I
to
wanna
make
know
a
somebody
video
else
of
in the
that,
state of-
and we put it
somebody
on our
else in the state of
Facebook.
Mississippi. I want to know if they fixed that.
Is there
Yeah.
another case of deer tempura in the state of Mississippi? I think not.
Well, let me read this. You'll find this interesting. Pull it up here on my phone. This is out of Nashville, Tennessee. concerning the CWD case there. The Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission is implementing an emergency action plan after at least 13 cases of chronic wasting disease were discovered in deer. Chronic wasting disease is fatal. It causes an infection in the brain similar to the mad cow disease. It is not known to spread to humans. The sick deer were found in Fayette and Hardeman counties near the Mississippi border. In response, the commission is enacting a plan for hunters in 3 high-risk counties. They are Fayette, Hardeman, and McNairy counties. Deer hunted in those counties must remain there, except meat with all bones removed, antlers with no tissue attached, tan hides, clean teeth, and finished taxidermy products. According to the new rules, supplemental feeding is also banned in these counties starting December 29th. Now listen to this. Starting December 29th, all hunters killing deer in the chronic wasting disease zone are required to physically check for testing at sampling and check stations within these counties. A new hunting season has been created for Fayette, Hardeman, and McNairy counties starting January 7th through January 31st.
Theirs is normally over.
I think it's over. I think they've extended. I don't know that. Let me see here. I should have pulled this up, but yeah, I'm not sure what their previous season was, but I'm going to say that that's an extension.
Yeah, they said they created a new season.
Okay, yeah. So here's what they're saying: a new hunting season. I'm reading this off of their Tennessee wildlife website. A new hunting season has been created for Fayette, Hardeman, and McNairy counties starting January 7th through the 31st. The antlered bag limit is 1. There is not a limit on antlerless deer. A Type 94 permit is required to hunt antlerless deer during this season, except for landowners hunting under landowner exception, sportsman license holders, and hunters possess a Type 167 permit. Even if you have already limited out with 2 antlered deer during the regular season, you are allowed to kill another antlered deer during January 7th through the 31st. So they're promoting. They're wanting samples. They're wanting a lot more, and they're requiring after the 29th that if you kill a deer, you have to take it and get it turned in for sample. That may be where we're headed. I don't know.
I don't know. I just think.
But they've got 13 cases, and we're crying. I mean, we're screaming. We're crying wolf down here at 2.
Yeah,
around us.
Well,
Yeah,
it's Sequinda's down there.
But much 2 in our area.
Yeah,
I guess is what I'm saying.
Louisiana line way down there. So just 2 right here around our place.
I hadn't heard anything about Tennessee. I didn't even know they were testing. So why did all of a sudden 13 deer come up?
It may just now happen. They got 13 out at one time.
Question. Let's talk about that. Question. 13 is a pretty good number for a couple counties. I mean, if one's a big number for our area, and then another one on up the road, then 13. All right, so where do we head from? Where does Tennessee head? Where does Mississippi head from here? It don't hurt humans. It does hurt the deer population. None of us sitting here want the deer in our area to be extinct. We're willing. So with this testing, has anybody told us what they're going to do? If this is the only case, do we move on? If we end up with 13 cases in North Mississippi, what are they going to, not just in getting your deer tested, what is the plan of action for our deer population if we've got mass number? Let's say we get 20 cases before the season's out. What will they do? They're going to shut hunting down. Do we have to start planting certain things? I guess my thing.
Supplemental feeding is not the answer.
No,
is what you're saying.
No.
That's not the answer.
What I'm saying is,
that's not going to
take the supplemental feeding away. It can still be passed on.
Yeah.
All right. We've done talked about,
especially with dogs pushing deer.
All right, but here's the thing: if eating out of the same corn pile and saliva can pass it on. These next 3 weeks with the rut, they finna be passing on lots of bodily fluids.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's right. Straight. I mean, we ain't ignorant. We literally plan our year around the next 2 or 3 weeks. People take their vacations. Marriages get broke up. You know, we know all about the rut. So we know what the rut is. It's buck deer chasing doe deer who's coming in heat, and that's where we get our multiple deer because they breed and then they have deer. Now, my point is, this supplemental feeding, you cut it out. Let's say we don't ever have that again. What's next? Do they have a plan intact to take care of CWD, or are they just going to monitor it? I guess it's silly to me to think that you're going to monitor it through supplemental feeding. What is your next step? I've not heard that. I didn't hear it at the meeting.
No.
I didn't hear it nowhere. This is what I'm finna say. Half of Lee County, half of Prentice, half of Alcorn, we're all guessing. This is a guess game.
Yeah.
Right? Well, guess when the season's over. Don't start doing all this guessing after we've done prepared, we've done bought, and all that. You ain't changing CWD by the end of January. No. Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, can't do anything about
don't come up, January the 15th, don't come up with 6 more counties.
Right.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what I heard was, and I feel confident that we had somebody in our family mention it that is a biologist, said that a deer will most likely die of something else or old age before CWD kills him.
Gets it.
Right. Yeah, around me, he's going to die of lead poison.
That's what I'm So that's another factor. It's not killing them at an early age. It's not like they're dying at 2 years old. They're laying dead like a blue tongue or something like that. So they're dying of something else before, whether they get shot, whether they get fight during rut, they get injured and they die, get hit by a car, whatever. So they're dying of something else in old age, pretty much get them before CWD. What I want to know is what our guy also told us is how come they've never been worried about ticks or other diseases that kill
Lyme disease
twice, 3 times many more deer than CWD.
Yeah.
Why would that? How come they hadn't been concerned? Just like I had a guy go to a lodge on a paid hunt, and I believe it was somewhere in South Texas. It was a nice place, and it was fenced, in one of those big fenced-in places. His customer took him, so he didn't refuse it. I think he killed a 170-inch deer.
Yeah.
Okay?
Amen.
In their feed, supplemental feed, pellets, they get it by the truckload. All of their pellets are dipped in this chemical. The deer are wormed. They have tick medication. There's not a deer one that has a tick on them that they kill.
Wow.
So if the deer's not sick, if they don't have ticks on them holding them back from disease, they'll grow bigger horns. And they're massive at this place. So how come something like that hadn't been done here? Put out feed that has that has dipped in chemical that kills this type of disease in deer.
Yeah.
How come that hadn't been a priority?
Wonder, is that where we're headed?
Yeah, maybe.
Is that how it got started over there? Because we all know there's something up with this. The further we go in it, the more question we got.
Yeah.
So is that, think about it. You ain't fixing to buy covered pellet for what you buy a 50-pound of corn.
Right.
You mark that down.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
So is this a weaning off of us from buying just supplemental feeding to get us to do all that? And the bottom line, the thing that's going to kill the deer most is the hunter.
Yeah.
More than CWD, Lyme disease,
Well,
tick.
listen to this.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen to this. I showed you the video of my nephew Simon walking to get his deer a couple of days ago.
Yes, you did.
And I had the video pointing down. This is what we do at Triple B Farm.
Yeah.
Corn everywhere on the ground. I'm talking about cob, cornfield. I'm talking about everywhere.
That's
you
legal.
Yes, legal. You saw a chunk of corn bit out of this ear. You had a chunk of corn bit out of this ear. I mean, there are 5 cobs laying within 2 feet
Yeah.
of bite marks taken out. They're eating on that same
Yeah.
right there. So they're eating. I don't care if they eat
Don't
it.
give them any ideas, kid.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, and we work hard
They'll
to do
start
it.
banning us
I got
on
standing
that.
soybeans. I've got standing corn.
No.
But what I'm saying is a food plot. We all do food plots.
Yeah.
They eat food plots. They
Eat
sit there
right next to each
How many
other.
times you see 2 deer, 3 deer, 4 deer, 5 deer all standing close together
Yeah.
eating?
Yeah, standing in their own urine and their own bowel. Now, let's just be honest about this thing. The same food plot they eat in is the same food plot they go to the bathroom in.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about transmitting CWD.
And they won't let us have the scent. We can't have urine scent, estrus. We can't have that in our packs.
Oh, no, I'm just telling
Well,
you.
they were saying that's because that stuff was imported
Yeah,
in here. Yeah.
yeah.
That's like milk causes cancer. You want to find that scientist and just make him drink a gallon. You know what I mean? Milk's been around for years.
Yeah.
All this new stuff,
Yeah.
you know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just crazy.
I mean, we're giving chicken steroids,
Yeah.
right?
We sure
Literally,
are.
that's what's happening.
Yeah, right.
And
Shooting with antibiotics.
I guess I want to stress, and I think everyone here around the fire would agree, we don't have an agenda here. We're not trying to beat up MDWFP,
We asking questions.
and we're not trying to make light also of the guys that are not participating at all.
No.
At all. I think you're going to find here that we're somewhere in between. We want to represent those guys out there who don't agree with what's happening with MDWFP by asking questions and saying, guys, why are you not being more transparent? Why are you not being more consistent? And on the same side, or on the flip side of that coin, on behalf of MDWFP, assuming that everything that they're trying to do is honorable and that they're trying really to put a valiant effort toward getting rid of CWD, that we're representing that side to say, look, guys, let's try to cooperate. But both sides have to do their part, and I think we would all say we're not intimidated by either one.
No.
If we see one side, that's what this forum is about, is to call you out on it.
That's right.
If you're not going to be, we're going to call you out on it because somebody needs to, on either side of the deal. So, guys, I thank you for your. I appreciate your input, and it's a good discussion. It's one that we're going to continue to have because this is not going away anytime
No.
soon.
It's going to get interesting.
Oh yeah,
When this season's over.
yeah,
Yeah, to see where that's my question. Where are we going from here?
yeah.
It's going to get interesting.
You know.
Anyway, well, guys,
Okay, great
appreciate
job.
it.
Thank you, Bill.
It's been a
Yeah.
been a
Thank
fun
y'all for
night.
being here. Merry
Spent a lot of time on
Merry
CWD,
We're
Christmas.
but
looking for
it's,
the announcement of
yeah.
the next family trip.
yeah.
You know, at
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
point
Hey,
in time.
next
we
senior
we
right
talked
here.
about
Yeah,
that last
Eli's
time.
senior. Eli's
Me.
senior.
Eli's
Hey,
senior.
he's graduating.
Hey, but
Hey,
this
class
is a good
favorite.
time. This is a good time. What did we decide last time? This came up on the last podcast. Did you hear it?
No, thank goodness I
Really, you didn't hear it? And Eli wasn't there. Don't y'all remember? Eli's senior trip.
I remember everything you're finna say.
So it's always been up to the
Oh
senior
yeah, we do remember that.
where
He gets to pick.
he gets to pick,
Yeah.
Check this out, Bill.
where we go. And we're not telling you where to pick, but we just thought maybe an elk hunt out west
With no
for
women.
the men. The women. That might be a pretty good.
Well, I'm tired of Disney. You know, I got to take a break from it.
Yeah.
You know.
And it would save
Yeah,
the
amen.
grandparents so much money.
Yeah, you only
it would
take half
save
the
them
crowd.
so much money.
yeah.
They probably have CWD with good
Probably a band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking more turkey hunting.
Turkey hunt?
Yeah.
Okay.
We could send the women to Disney and we could go to hunt some Osceolas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
And
Sounds good.
okay.
Granddaddy's got a big grin on his
We
face,
have
so
to be
we'll
looking
see.
into that.
Yeah, I mean May's coming, which he's already pretty well graduated.
Yeah.
We could celebrate it at any
He's one of
month.
those early qualifiers.
Yeah,
If
he's early
he was
qualified.
going on to
Yeah,
play.
if he was
could-
playing sports, he could have played in October.
Class favorite.
Yeah.
He was
He got
Class president?
valedictorian student of the year.
student of the
Yeah.
year.
Class
his
president,
Class
class favorite.
president.
Yeah.
Valedictorian.
Class clown.
I can probably even work a scholarship in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna print the diploma. So
Well, congratulations,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Eli, on your deer and
his diploma.
Yeah.
And celebrated. And your destination.
yeah.
Your turkey hunt, Osceola.
Well, guys, looking forward to next time.
Yep, we'll do it again.
Thank y'all.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. It's your time now. Be legend.